The Bitcoin Group, the American original. For over the last 10 years, the sharpest Satoshis, the best Bitcoins, the hardest cryptocurrency talk. We'd like to welcome our panelists, Josh Shigala from the Standard.io.
Ni hao.
And I'm Thomas Hunt from the World Crypto Network. Moving on to Issue 1. Issue 1. Ethereum ETF should be fully approved by September, says SEC Chair Gary Gensler. They've tried to block them forever, but as we predicted on this show multiple times in the recent past, after they got the Bitcoin ETFs through, there was no reason not to allow the Ethereum ETFs, which is a scary, slippery slope that could quickly lead to Solana, Dogecoin, and anything else you can think of as an ETF. Josh Shigala, Bitcoin waited so long, it doesn't seem like Ethereum's going to wait very long at all. What do you think about the latest ETF from the SEC?
Yeah, I mean, we called it here on the show as soon as Bitcoin's done. I mean, but the thing is, I don't even understand why it takes till September, really. Like, what are they doing there? What are they going to change some things in the protocol? Are they putting pull requests into the GitHub repo and because XYZ reasons? Yeah, it seems all very like, oh, we're so important, it's going to take until September. We're very, very important thieves over here. We need to structure our theft a lot stronger. So I don't know. I'm just it just blows my mind how this guy is just such a nonsense fraud, fake fraud. This Gensler, all of them. Anyway, even if he left and someone else took his job, it's a fraudulent job that they all do. They don't even do a good job. FTX still happened under their watch. His head didn't roll. It's just all a fraud. It's a toll booth. It's a toll booth for people to have to pay to do business in the US. That's all it is, and there's nothing else to it.
Well, I do think it's a noble idea to try to protect people from bad investments. And certainly there was a time where they could gatekeep the market and they could say, you're not a real company, you're out of here. And like Josh said, so many times they do miss it. Not on Tesla, but I think it was Nikolai, something like that. There was another auto company that said they had fully automated electric semis and then turned out to be completely fake. And they got onto the stock market and they had big displays and everything. So as Josh said as well with the FTX thing, so many times they can't stop anything. And as we're going to talk about here with issue 4, they can't stop these Solana meme coins. The genie is out of the bottle and it's the wild, wild west. And as it's the wild, wild west, I think it's terrible that they've been blocking the Bitcoin and the Ethereum ETFs for so long. This is a way for people with their retirement accounts to get an exposure to Bitcoin and perhaps Ethereum or anything else they want. And they've been blocking them from having this exposure. Meanwhile, they probably bought gold or diamonds or technology mutual fund or whatever it is. They didn't have the option to buy Bitcoin. They had less choices. It's not fair to them. They were overprotected. And now I really agree with Josh. I think that they're waiting until September so that they can get their investments lined up, so that they can make sure that you sell your Ethereum to them and all these other things, and you'll be forced to do it, and the price will go down and you'll give up or something like that. Some kind of white swan or black swan event will happen. And suddenly they'll end up with all the chips,
What
just
I've
like after Waterloo. Go ahead, Josh.
Yeah, and I think the timing's interesting as well in terms of market cycles. So generally after a halvening, it'll be around about nowish that we start to see a kickoff. So this could be almost like a ramjet coming in at almost where the end of a major boom should, or the middle of a major boom should be. So this might be setting up the market for a massive failure because we'll be already in a massive hype. That'll get released. That'll boom up even further and could overprice the entire asset class and then crash dearly, causing a lot of people to lose a lot of money. And then Gensler will waddle in with his with his head and then say, "See, I told you." Yeah. And so yeah, I mean, if anything, I think they should have just allowed it now so that we're still in a consolidation phase. We're not in the mega cycle right now. I think we're at the start of it, but we're not in the middle of it. And so, yeah, I don't know. I find it kind of annoying that there's this manipulation. It's a manipulation, I feel.
I don't know. I'm going to go with the mega happy ending where last time we had the FTX collapse that kind of ruined our bull run. This time, maybe we'll have the Ethereum ETFs perfectly timed with the Bitcoin bull run to launch all cryptocurrencies. And again, sadly, all cryptocurrencies because they all tie on to Bitcoin like a rocket. Bitcoin goes up, all the maximalists are really happy, and then a bunch of these altcoins go up more percentage wise. But again, hodling's still the safest and least stressful strategy. But if you're on the way up and you're looking for risks, there are a lot of risks available in altcoins, and sometimes they pay off. Let's keep moving. Let's go on to issue two. Crypto markets have seen $12 billion of net inflows this year. JPMorgan says most of the $16 billion inflow came into spot Bitcoin ETFs since their launch, likely from existing digital wallets on exchanges. And again, building off the last issue, they blocked this for so long, they pent up and held down demand. So when they did allow it, we see a huge explosion showing how wrong they were to block this. The Bitcoin price, of course, plunged because everyone thought it was going up and they put all their money into longs as $245 million in crypto longs were liquidated as the price fell 5% to 66,000. Looking at the price right now, it's around 65,716, although looks like a bottom is in and a possible recovery. Guess I'll go to myself on this one. What do I think about the Bitcoin price and all of the ETF inflows? I think same thing. Building off the last issue, they stopped us from having this years ago. We talked about this years ago, 5, 8 years ago, something like that, when the Winklevi were applying for the first ETF, and it seemed like a no-brainer. It seemed like some of the largest problems with Bitcoin or crypto are having to hold it yourself, having an account where you can just send the crypto out to any wallet, right? If you could have that in a stock market account with your existing security or even a brokerage account where you don't even control it, you call up some guy on the phone, he puts it through. Of course, he knows who you are. He has your phone number, all of those things. It's a lot safer for people. It's a lot easier. And as we're hearing through the grapevine, a lot of family offices and large investors are still waking up to Bitcoin, waking up to this reality, and looking to place their investments likely into these ETFs because they find them safer. Josh Shigala, what do you think about the giant inflows into Bitcoin and crypto in general?
Yeah, I mean, to your point though, like we have plenty of examples of total failures, like Bernie Madoff. Yeah, I mean, just outright easy to spot in hindsight scams, and so you know these authorities really haven't stopped much by these massive influxes into other areas of the market that were highly regulated. But anyway,
I mean, I
yeah,
think it's a lot like unfortunately, like the terrorism example where we have two or three major failures. We have tens of hundreds of successes that we don't know about because they didn't happen. So I do
right.
think that we need cops on this beat. We do need laws. We need the attempt at laws. But I think that in general, the problems become that whack-a-mole solution where it's not just drugs and drug dealers, it's this meme coin generator on Solana. I don't know the
Mm,
details, but you put $10 in, you get a bunch of meme coins. All of a sudden, the Gary Gensler's job just got infinitely harder. So I
mm.
think in that part, it might not be doable, but it's the kind of thing you still want them doing it. You still want them putting out the effort because if you didn't do that, it could be 10,000 times worse. But
Well,
go
that's
ahead, Josh. What do you think about Bitcoin and the money coming in, the big inflows?
yeah, the big inflow. I mean, it's bound to happen. It keeps on happening. It will keep on happening because where else do you put your money right now? Like, okay, there's Nvidia. Um, there's OpenAI is not you can't invest in that. Microsoft, I guess you could invest by proxy into OpenAI through them. But that's also a very precarious investment because what AI tends to eat itself because it's just so powerful that the major large players. So I just think this is the asset class. Like I'm not a I'm so removed from traditional investing just because I've been in this space for so long. I understand this space very, very well compared to the other space. But generally, when I look around, I just think, I don't know. I feel like I've kind of missed the boat on Nvidia a little bit. Like I wouldn't feel comfortable investing in Nvidia at the top of a hockey stick. Um, and in general, the market seems very, very sort of meh. And everybody's talking like the repo markets um, in, in the auto industry are absolutely out of control. No one's got money. I've I'm been hearing lots of people talking like small business owners that are really struggling because people just don't have the money anymore to put even into buying a coffee in the morning. They'd rather just make the coffee at home. So there's some of these luxuries are dropping away. The market globally, this isn't just an American problem. This is a global problem, and I'm seeing it over in Europe. I'm seeing it in Australia. That the retail hasn't got the cash right now, and so we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But the one parade that is really going to kick off, absolutely, and will keep on kicking off, is the crypto market. And this is a parade that, well, the big boys want to rain on, the regulators want to rain on.
I agree, Josh, and I think part of the problem is if you've been in crypto as long as you and I have, and some of the audience, it doesn't feel risky anymore. I mean, we're looking at Bitcoinal right here with the 5 year chart. If you've been in it about 5 years, you've seen 5,000. You've seen a crazy high right here, 65,000 or so, a big drop, another 65,000, a huge drop, a year or many more of sadness and nothing. And there we are, right back at 65,000. So, like you're saying, where else could I put my money? Many of us in the audience are likely overinvested in cryptocurrency. Maybe it's the only thing we've ever bought that did well. And that keeps happening. You keep diversifying into things that do worse, and then you make
Mm.
less. So you try to keep holding your crypto stack. And I think that's what people are doing right now. They keep holding it. If they had the longs or the shorts, though, we've seen the market fluctuate enough to dump out those longs and those shorts. So again, if you're new to this market, you could do a long where you do some borrowing and things and you get more stock if it goes up. And then if it goes up in the short term, you make money. You could do a short where you do some borrowing in a negative way. And if the stock goes down, or Bitcoin as a stock, if it goes down, then you make money if it's in the short term. Or you could just buy the underlying asset and it goes up or down, you get to hold it. The problem with these longs and these shorts, if it goes up or down too quickly, depending on which way you've bet, you could lose and then lose your underlying asset. So that's why it's such a big deal when we have these big 5% swings. And the hodlers are like, oh, I don't know what happened. I had this investment and it's still there. A zero point 0.1 Bitcoin is still a zero point 0.1 Bitcoin today. Like, they're not concerned about it. But if you had that long and you took your zero point 0.1 and risked it for like a whole Bitcoin, or a short risked it for a whole Bitcoin, you would be very stressed about the 5%
Um,
swings. So
yeah, no, spot on. Absolutely.
let's move on to the exit question. Predicting against the magic Bitcoin ball, the predictor of all truth in this universe. Josh Shigala, will the price of Bitcoin be higher or lower this time next week?
Oh, yeah, the triangles and the squares and the circles, the Fibonacci's specifically are pointing to up.
All right, I'm going to stick with higher always. Bitcoin maximalist, blah, blah, blah. Will the price of Bitcoin be higher this time next week? Concentrate and ask again. Concentrate and ask
No.
again. So there it is. You can't always get what you want. Moving on, check out worldcryptonetwork.com, where it seems like this week we've got a lot of short videos about curio cards. Learn about curio cards NFTs in short videos this week on the World Crypto Network. Moving on to issue 3, Bitcoin politics. Trump wants all Bitcoin made in the USA after hosting mining industry heads. The presidential candidate, who previously, while he was president, said Bitcoin was a scam and did nothing for Bitcoin, is now doing everything to meet with Bitcoin leaders who dress just like him and take fun pictures. Meanwhile, the Biden administration and campaign could be planning a crypto coup, fun words there, amid Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP price swings. And according to Forbes magazine and the update, Biden's campaign team has held talks with crypto companies about accepting crypto donations via Coinbase and are paying attention to crypto issues. Josh Segal, it seems like Bitcoin's gone totally political, and we can trust both sides and should send them our Bitcoin donations immediately. Isn't that right?
That's absolutely right. No, I mean, it's always the thing that happens is that like we've got to appeal to every single tiny niche, but the Bitcoin and crypto space isn't a tiny niche anymore, and so appealing to those is important. What I find interesting is that I tend to follow these wallets that they put out there because they're UTXO or account models, and generally not that much heads into the political realm. I definitely don't. I think that Trump would get a lot more Bitcoin than Biden purely because, well, I feel he's more popular, but probably in that segmented market of libertarian types, I think he'll probably collect more. Yeah, I don't know. I just would stay away from sending anybody your Bitcoin. Just a small bit of advice. Cheers.
I'm always reminded of my favorite Dick Tracy quote. He's pondering it. And he says, "The enemy of my enemy is my friend." And then he says, "No, the enemy of my enemy is my enemy." So once again, I think this is just capture from the outside. More people that aren't into Bitcoin, aren't into cyberpunk history, aren't into the things that you're into, but they're here to take your money. I do think it's a good thing. I think it's a sign of Bitcoin growing up, especially as I mentioned in the intro. Both sides are doing it now. Both sides are going to accept Bitcoin. I agree with Josh, hopefully a very small amount, unless you guys made way too much and just want to give your money away, as we've seen at Bitcoin Magazine many times. Also, note the fantastic photo. I think that was the CEO or something of Bitcoin Magazine, the publisher or something. So they're really, really exposing what side they're on. And no matter what side you're on, I think you'd rather have middle of the road coverage rather than clearly one-sided coverage. But that's what I
Well,
worry
there
about
is
with this is too much into the pandering, too much into believing what these people say. I mean, for example, Trump spoke in Vegas recently, and he's basically talking to a bunch of waiters and waitresses and people that work in casinos, and he said, "I'm not going to tax your tips." And it's almost getting to down to the point, you talk to the old people, "You're going to live forever." You talk to the stock traders, "I'm going to give you free trades." You talk to the auto mechanics, you're like, "I'm going to make oil and grease free." It's this,
Tell me
I
a
really
time
think
when
he's
that
trying to
hasn't been
be,
the case, though,
well,
in
again,
politics. I mean,
it's,
that's the modus
but when it
operandi
is
of
actually
politics
the case
forever,
and you can
forever.
call it out on its face and you can say, on its face, this guy is going from group to group saying what they want to hear. Like, not as an example, like politicians say what they want to hear. He's actually doing it. So I would worry about that if that's where I was going to invest my money or my time and my political beliefs. But I think in general, both sides are waking up to it, which is good. We don't want it to be, Elizabeth Warren versus Trump, and one side's going to ruin crypto, unless you like that narrative and you're into the whole hate thing. Otherwise, I think we're going to get a lot more done if we see that both sides have a reason to like Bitcoin, both have a reason to dislike it, and we need to moderate it so that we can have more things we like about it and less things that we don't like about it, and that
I,
we can work together on that.
I did write a little thesis, which I'm about to publish on my Twitter about um, the monopoly or that the US has on global settlement through its dollar. is about to come to an end. Well, has come to an end on July the 5th with the BRICS and specifically the petrodollar in Saudi Arabia. Now they've dropped the need to have to settle in US dollars with the oil trades. Now, this has been something that's been going for a very long time since the 70s. So the US has protected that pseudo monopoly globally through war and through force for a long time, but also through trade and through deal making and saying, look, you have to use dollar and we'll protect you. So um, uh, now that that's dropped down, the US has one. I believe in my mind has one chance that they can take to continue having that that dollar as the global settlement, and that is embracing the dollar pegged stablecoin market that has managed by default to become the currency that everybody pegs to. Whatever country you're in, most people price their Bitcoin in US dollars right now. It doesn't matter. I've seen this phenomena myself globally. Everybody's portfolio is in US dollars because YouTube and the traders on YouTube all trade against the US dollars. They're not, we have Euro S as a stable coin on the standard, but uh, obviously the vast volume is in USD stablecoin still. So I feel that if they wanted to protect that, uh, they should. They should really harbor stable coins and try to get that network effect, because a network effect is even stronger than any protectionist racket that they can set up through war or anything like that, because uh, this the market will choose voluntarily to use US dollars if that's what they're used to doing, if they're used to pricing things in US dollars. Now that can happen. So I would say that the government would be wise to really focus on the stablecoin market and allow for the stablecoins in US dollars to be uh, to have that fostering, because otherwise it's going to splinter off into all sorts of things and people will start to use their local currencies again. And there's an opportunity there for them to keep that, and that will be long term too.
I think you're right, Josh. I think it is their last chance because that is somewhere that they can regulate it. If you look at Tether, one of the big things about Tether is that allegedly Tether had US dollars in a bank account that backed up Tether. That's why you knew it was safe. So if you're the United States government, you know exactly where to tax and you know where the dollars are. And as we've seen with data, countries have started to make rules saying, oh, Russian data has to stay inside of Russia. You could say the same with US dollars. You're like, US dollars have to stay inside of the US. So they could do
Yeah.
that kind of control over it. They could do the taxing on it. They could try to do limited blocking of evil addresses, people that are doing things that they don't approve of, so on and so forth. Are they smart enough to do that? I don't know. I think they're smart enough to make a plan to do it. I've read a lot of the US military's plans for global warming. They have a great plan. They could fix things. They could get us on the right track. They're not doing it. They're not implementing it. They have a plan, but they're not using it. So I think it would be very smart of them to do it, but I don't know that they're going to, and I think they're going to run out of time. And they might try what you're saying, Josh, but by the time they try it, there'll be so many different US dollar stable coins. And as you say, even worse, stable coins, attached to something else, like for example, a basket of currencies. Once you
Mhm.
start doing a basket of currencies, the US dollar is just one of those currencies. It's not as important. It just helps the average.
Well,
So I
don't
do
think
think,
it's not a threat, because Facebook, that's exactly what Facebook tried with the Zuckbucks that I don't know, that was the nickname, but it basically tried to build a basket of currencies that would be the Facebook dollar, and and that got shut down. I mean, this is the one of the largest companies in the world being shut down, and
well, and
in the
that's again,
background,
that's similar to when Saddam Hussein wanted to sell oil in euros or whatever it was. A big change like
gold.
that upsets people. And we see what happens when JFK was printing silver certificates, these kind of things. People do something they think is innocuous, and then, a bookshelf falls on them.
Yeah,
So,
that's right.
but
That's right.
Zuckerberg's doing fine. He's got that compound in Hawaii. I just read
Yeah.
he's building a compound in Lake Tahoe. It's amazing these and again here I'm getting conservative here, Josh, my old age. These liberals that live in the cities and make all their money, they want to
Yeah.
run away and have big compounds in the country where no one can reach them and they're not part
Mm.
of any community. It's very strange. Of
Yeah.
course, Zuckerberg has been strange the whole time, so that's
Or
not a new
beachfront
thing.
mansions and then scream about global warming and rising sea tides.
It's never too late. Let's keep moving. Let's move on to issue four. Issue four, meme coins. Again, Andrew Tate is here now. The kickboxer and male chauvinist is now presenting his own token, Daddy Token. Daddy Token is now at this time has a market cap, which remember means that you couldn't actually get that money. If he tried to sell it, the price would start going down, especially if he owns 40 to 60% of it, as they say. But right now it has a market cap of 340 million, which is above the market cap for Iggy Azalea's mother coin, which only has 192 million, and a alleged deal with a cell phone company where you'll actually be able to use the mother token to buy cell phone minutes, allegedly. This has been reacted to. We've also got Hulk Hogan jumping into the ring with a hashtag pump coin. It seems everyone is going to make their own coin, as we said last week, like Gargamel trying to turn their fans, the Smurfs, into gold. Just turn them into gold. Beeple is on the dot already, making beautiful fun of this with an American Gothic themed mother and daddy photo showing Andrew Tate and Iggy Azalea in the classic American Gothic with a green candle pitchfork, just perfect. And he even released a white paper describing the details of his artwork. But Josh Shigala, what do you think about meme coins? It's now mother versus daddy, and the most reputable and wonderful of all characters are getting involved, such as Hulk Hogan, who was recently in the news for a sex scandal and a sex tape and hasn't wrestled
Hulk
in
Hogan?
20, 30 years.
That's
Oh, yeah, he
wild.
was involved in the Gawker. He took down Gawker. There was a major story, and I'm not going to recount the whole thing, but basically he had sex with someone else's wife on tape, and the tape leaked or whatever. It's out there,
Oh, it's
and
the last thing you want
they
to see.
sued Gawker because it was like a personal tape or something. But huge story, Josh. But he's back now. He's got the pump token.
Yeah,
But
right.
everybody gets a coin. Huh?
Everybody gets a coin, and that was my thesis back in 2011, that will happen. Every single person can release a coin, every single company, and it just is what it is. It doesn't matter how much you yell, Bitcoin's the only one. It will happen. I'm not saying it's a good thing or a bad thing. I'm just saying that's the reality. It's so easy for anybody to create a token and put it out there. And I think it will wreck a lot of people. It will wreck a lot of people because what they do is they jump onto a reputation, they buy the reputation of that person, and then they realize it has no real value at all. But maybe where the value of these coins are not, which is interesting, is that these large players like Andrew Tate and such, Iggy Azalea, they will attract a lot of money because they're already massively famous, and maybe there's a little bit of an uptick in there. But I think where the real money is finding smaller artists, and this is what the mafia have done, for instance, with art generally, or artists, is they find unknowns, they buy all their artwork, they then make them very famous, and their artworks go crazy through the. I mean, this is typical money laundering 101, and so I think this is where the money really is finding uh, high potential famous people that aren't famous yet, having a meme coin for them, buying it up, or creating it, and then making them famous. So that's where the real value is. These over
That's the
the
hard work money though. That's you have to go out and find a new Justin Bieber. If you were just a traditional scammer, all you really need is a friend who's a Hollywood agent who has a stable full of clients, and you can go through and just sign them all, get 10% of each meme coin, have your little meme coin factory there and just clean up.
Yeah, it's going to become like that. And like I said in last week's show, this was Max Kaiser's initial business back way before even Bitcoin was launched. Um, was that yeah, he created a celebrity stock exchange where you could buy into the celebrity, and even though there wouldn't be any dividends, you would just buy the celebrity.
Well, and that was pretty great. You could bet on the movie if the movie was going to be a success, and then if the box
Yeah.
office took in money, you could judge whether or not it was a success. And
Mm.
it was
And
very
that's going to be the
straightforward.
same with memes, meme coins too. Like with celebrity coins, I guess they're not really meme coins, there's celebrity coins, and celebrity coins will take off. Like every celebrity will have their coin, and maybe Tatiana coin will actually have a value at the end.
It might. Well, and it all goes back to what Andreas said, but I don't think he said it in such a dystopian and horrifying manner where it's like Hulk Hogan will have a coin, a strange kickboxer, male chauvinist will have a coin, Australian pop star you know nothing about will have a coin. He said more like everyone on the playground will have a coin, Joey coin, Freddie coin, Johnny coin, and they could
Yeah.
trade against each other. The problem with these coins is that people are trading Bitcoin or Ethereum or even Solana, things that actually have value in exchange for these coins that have questionable value. One of the great things about NFTs is that you can give them out to all your fans, like a little quarter or a nickel, something everyone can have. But what they're doing on these is more of an exclusive NFT where if you get it early, maybe you could make money on it, selling it to other people who buy it late, who will then take the loss. So again, the value of these coins, I think it's sad and it's cynical, but it's mainly to bring in new adopters to Bitcoin, but to bring them in through the fire. You probably have to lose 95% of the money that you put into these coins. Then you have to take that lesson and say, that's why I'm going to buy Bitcoin instead of a meme coin, because someone else will buy the Bitcoin off me. Whereas the meme coin, no one else would buy off me and the price went down. And that's a horrible lesson for these people to learn. And some of them might not even learn it. They might say cryptocurrencies are all scams and walk away for 5 years. Then in 5 years, they'll come back, check the price of Bitcoin. It will be up, spoiler alert. And they'll be unhappy. They'll be like, I got a dumb meme coin. Then I got chased out of Bitcoin. Then I finally came back and realized that Bitcoin was good. So they aren't our best onboarding. Like this is not the what we would design if we had to say, let's onboard everyone to crypto. But we already tried that, right? We tried making YouTube videos. We tried meeting people. We tried going to conferences, handing out flyers. We tried all those things. But what we're really going to try that's going to work is give all your money to your favorite pop star, think that you're going to make 10,000x, lose all of your money, and then learn about Bitcoin and doing things the right way and dollar cost averaging and how you
Mm.
can't time the market and all these things that we can say like dollar cost average, don't time the market, and then there's everyone's just pushing all their money in, not
Yeah,
listening to
yeah,
us
yeah.
at all. But
Yeah, I don't
afterwards,
even listen to
yeah.
myself. If I have some spec, I just go, you just buy some Bitcoin or buy some Ethereum. But yeah, the thing is that the conspiracy they trope is the same here. We can't design. There's no they in Bitcoin that can design
Well,
the
the they
market. It
that's
just is
blocking
what
these
it is.
people is the they in your head. And it's always there, and it was there when I could have bought Bitcoin in 2010, and the voice said, "No, you'll lose all your money." And that voice is just louder in certain people at certain times. And if you don't have any information, all you have is your feelings. And so you go back to your feelings, and your feelings say, "You could lose all your money."
Yeah, I mean, back to the celebrity stuff. What I think is interesting is that celebrities spend a lot of time gaining celebrity status, and one of these pump and dump schemes could really destroy them because their fan base just get jilted about that because people feel like, oh wow, I'm going to buy Azalea coin or whatever it is. It goes down and gets crushed. Now, celebrities need to go through the wrath of the followers that lost all their, money on something that the celebrity wouldn't have any control over anyway, because the market just decides to dump on them, and or the agent decided to dump on the market, And then the celebrity gets all the wrath from the fans who are now ex-fans and start suing them. So yeah, I'll be interested seeing the first like hardcore hate, negative fan base that happened because yeah, a coin that a celebrity released did really badly.
Well, and I think we're in a really unique time, Josh, where the traditional celebrities who've built up their influence through making movies, making albums, year after year, putting in all this work, building a career, they thought they were going to be celebrities forever. And now they're seeing other people like the guy on Hot Ones and YouTube and Mr. Beast and all these kind of people coming up out of nowhere, not going through the same struggles, certainly going through different struggles. But I think there's a bunch of them and they're ready to cash in on this celebrity. So I think it's really a matter of who gets to them first, how much they promise them, how much they get in advance, whether or not the celebrity even gets a good deal on this. Because we all saw with the Iggy coin, they did a deal with some computer guy and he took 365K from them. So that could happen first to all these celebrities where they just get, hosed by a bad programmer or a bad hacker or whatever it is, or like you said, Josh, the agent, because many of these things they own 40 to 60% of their crypto. And if the agent decides, well, this is enough, we hit 192 million market cap and start selling, but then realizes that he can't sell fast enough, that there's no liquidity to sell into it. And the more he sells, the less he gets. And this just collapses and it happens so fast. He doesn't think it could happen this fast, but it does. And I think we're going to see a bunch of those. I'm going to see a bunch of classic celebrities ruining their fans. We've already seen politicians dunking their fans with NFTs, with coins, with meme coins, with donations, all these things. But it's that again, it's that creative destruction where sadly we have to sit back here on our little Bitcoin hill and our lawn chairs and say, look what the kids are doing down there. What a mess it's going to be. But at the same time, knowing there's no way that we could overpower these celebrities' voices, especially for their fans. When their fans hear their voice and they say, buy the coin, maybe they even do promises. They say you'll get exclusive access to something in the future, which they could deliver on. It's entirely possible. But I think it sounds different to a fan. And especially when you have some of these really kind of cult fan bases like this kickboxer or the politician or even a singer. I think if we go to the top of this, what if Taylor Swift made a meme coin? Obviously, billions and billions of dollars. Huge rug of possibilities. Could be a hacker, could be an agent, could be an insider, could be Taylor herself was selling all the coins. But yeah, I think we're all going to have to go through this, and we're all going to have to see all of our celebrities and all of our fans, everyone that we love, destroyed as they touch crypto, and it turns them into gold like Midas. But remember what Uncle Vitalik said: if you truly want to be rich, make your own coin. That's true. Moving on to the next issue, issue 5. We've talked about it before, but it's back again. Now in the New Yorker magazine. We're almost up to the Atlantic. All that's left is Atlantic and the New York Times. $500 million in Bitcoin lost in the dump. And we've talked about this many times every few years on the show when the round number gets larger. The guy had 2 hard drives in his desk. The wrong hard drive was placed in the trash bag. The girlfriend took the trash bag to the dump. He's got a theory of where it is in the dump, but there's a privacy issue if you start going through the dump looking for hard drives and you find someone else's hard drive. That's a huge privacy issue. There's a crushing issue where the hard drive's likely been compacted by the earth and the weight of the garbage. And then there's just the good old, can they even find the hard drive issue? But as we predicted the last time we talked about this, and every time we talk about this, that the number, the amount of dollars in Bitcoin will keep going up. Therefore, larger and larger articles will have to be written about this. Last time we talked about it, the town council wouldn't give him access to the dump. As I've said, privacy issue. Imagine if you threw your hard drive away in the same time period as this guy. They're going to go find your hard drive. That's not what you want your town council to do. But I think last time he should have run for council. He should have run other people for council. He should have gotten a large, basically, if he could get someone like, theoretically, Calvin Ayre, who backed Craig Wright and put him in a strong position. If they could back this guy, he could go ahead and buy the dump or have the council sell him the dump or vote to sell him the dump. Once he gets access to the dump, then it's a matter of sifting and digging for the trash. But it is all kind of absurd, and reminds me a little bit of this great Douglas Copeland book called Shampoo Planet, where he talked about History World, and really it was just a dump. And he would trick people into digging in the dump, and they could go down layers in history and find old things from the 70s and 50s and 60s and the real history. And you could get your hands dirty right there in the dump, digging up the history. But Josh Shigala, what do you think about the man who lost? Now it's $500 million. Next, it'll be $750 million. It'll be $1 billion. We'll talk about this over and over again until he finds it or doesn't find it. But what do you think about Mr. Hard Drive in the UK?
It's a cruel fate for the guy. I mean, but we've all done things like crazy things. All the early Bitcoiners, my God, the amount of times I spent like 10 Bitcoin on a pizza or something, or dumb stuff, just dumb things. And I think, oh, wow. And I even got them on video, like me celebrating, yeah, this pizza tastes so fantastic because I paid for it in Bitcoin. No, not in hindsight. It tasted horrible, and it keeps tasting worse. So, so it is what it is. Schrodinger, Starship Schrodinger's Destiny brings up a really good point in the chat there that, it. I don't know how possible it is for this hard drive to survive anyway, and I agree there with Schrodinger that what these hard drives are so fallible.
At this point, like, Josh, it's funny. It's practically like that economic experiment that people talk about, where they say you take a bunch of money and you put it in a jar and you bury the jar, and then you pay someone to dig up the jar to get the money, so on and so forth. In a way, although it could be in the end fruitless and wasteful, wouldn't it be fun to have a huge exhibition to find this hard drive for all the dozers and all the diggers and all the sifters and, like you're saying, the computer experts? And it would be like an archaeological dig through recent history. And they would be like, oh, we found a hard drive. Everybody stop. Like an ancient artifact. Like, oh no, ancient and he comes with a duster and he dusts off the hard drives. It's a Mac store. It's a, WD. Oh, what kind of hard drive? What year? Oh, is it the right one? And all this kind of stuff. But not for something in Roman numerals, not for something buried for thousands of years, but just a few years. And at a certain point, I think it gets enough money that they have to do it. Like, but I do agree with Schrodinger's cat in the chat. The hard drive's probably wrecked by now. Like, the media loves covering it, and I don't want to deflate their bubbles. But from a tech perspective, it's going to be a rough recovery.
And let's say they recover it, and there are very good ways of undestroying a hard drive, like these. Well,
I was thinking about the key. The key is very small. If you got the whole hard drive, but there's only one sector that has the key on it or whatever, maybe that sector survives. I mean, it's absurd that any sectors would survive at a certain level of crush, right? Because we're talking about heat and crush and garbage, water, warping, any kind of. It's been years now. I mean,
and
also, do we want this hard drive to survive? Like, let's say this hard drive does survive. Now, every other hard drive in that dump is fair game from a historical perspective. People have thrown it away. Maybe there's valuable data on there. Maybe it's worth purchasing more dumps and going for hard drives.
Maybe that is the next mining thing. Maybe the miners run out of Bitcoin to mine fresh Bitcoin, so they start mining rubbish dumps.
And they're up in Hal Finney's attic, and they're digging through all this stuff, and they're like, "This T-shirt is representative. There's a code. There's a code in this T-shirt leading to the coins."
Yeah, no, it's just easier to make a meme coin. That's what it'll be. That's the problem. No, but the real issue really is logistically, how the heck do you even mine these things without crushing it on the way? So you send a bulldozer in, with a feather duster on the end to slowly, I don't know, how do you get this, how do you even go through this without,
I think it's a gold mining type operation. You have like a conveyor belt, you lift up chunks of dirt, put them on the conveyor belt, start sorting for metals. Rattling, shaking out, and then different kind of nets, and you make a hard drive sized net I
Yeah, I
don't
think a
know.
lot of
It
it's
does seem very
AI would
difficult.
have to
Yeah.
be cameras and picking stuff out. Yeah. I mean, he had a whole plan. The last article in the last halvening.
Well, and like you say, Josh, it's going to keep going. I think this is a young guy. Every 4 years, the halvening will happen. They'll do another check on this guy. The money will
Yeah.
still be there. It'll be worth more. It's almost, it reminds me of the Avatar movie, but they have to go to that other planet to get the magical metal. We just have to go right here to this dump, and we could
Yeah,
get
just.
magical wealth,
I know.
incredible,
It
everlasting
it's
wealth.
either that or it's the type of torture for the guy, just to keep bringing it up. Like, hey, by the way, now it's a bigger magazine wanting to talk about your loss and your, like, can you, how are those meds going, mate? Anyway, dumpster
It is
coin. I
awful,
love the
and
name of these coins that these guys, BTC Moon guy. Well done, nice. Bring it on.
dumpster coin. Yeah, they should do a meme coin to sponsor the digging for this. In
Yeah,
general, I think he just needs to think about raising money against this with the belief that he would find it, and
yeah,
just kind of ignore what happens if you don't find it and you raise all this money and lose all these people's money. Because the adventure, like Indiana Jones, like you need the adventure. And I think he's
except
going to
it's a
come to that.
garbage dump.
Except it's a garbage dump. Well, a lot of the times Ghostbusters is in the sewer and Indy's digging in places you wouldn't want to be in. So
Yeah,
it's pretty right there.
I
All
like
right, I
his
think we're
brain.
heading towards the end of the show. This video I'm going to play is a 3-year-old video, but it's amazing how true it was and how when I watched it, it instantly clicked with me. This is from Radical Living on YouTube. It's called The Tragic Struggle of Telling Your Friends to Buy Bitcoin. And what's great about this is he went ahead and predicted the future. Like I said, it's 3 years old, but it predicted what's going to happen to us right now. Let's watch just a little bit, and you should check it out too.
Buy Bitcoin. If you sell Bitcoin, you don't understand Bitcoin. Besides, I bought it at 50 cents. I'm still up 700,000%. Dude, buy some Bitcoin. It will never be this cheap again. Come on, man. You're still talking about Bitcoin? No one cares anymore. It's going to zero. It's dead, man. It's dead. Oh my god. Bitcoin hit 50k today. Do you think it's still a good time to buy? Oh, jeez. It's like talking to a wall. Yes, it is. And it will be until the year 2140, when the last Bitcoin is mined. Okay? So you don't think I should wait for a dip? Considering the government printed $5 trillion in the last 6 months alone, what do you think? Bitcoin's going to a million. Really? You think so? But it went up so much in the last weeks. I'm gonna wait for a drop. Then I buy some.
And isn't that absolutely the way you tell them to buy over and over again? It finally hits 50K, and then they're like, okay, when there's a dip, that's when I'll
Yeah.
buy some.
And then when the
Oh,
dip happens, they're like, it's over.
yeah,
No,
it's
no.
over. That's not a dip. That's a death rattle. It's going all the way down. But yeah, just a great video. And for him to call it that it would come right back and that we'd be where we are today. Also found this other fun one on Twitter. I just want to share with you guys as we hit the end of the show here. A Bit Life Crisis. This is from American Hodl 8, Hodl on Twitter. Bit Life Crisis, the moment in your Bitcoin journey when your stacks stop moving the needle. Your net worth fluctuates more than your annual salary in a single day. Your fiat job loses all meaning. You lose the ability to self-censor. Things that upset those around you barely register for you. And you just stop giving a F entirely. So watch out for that bit life crisis. Maybe if we all hodl long enough, we could get there. But Josh Agalo, we're running out of time. Do you have a prediction or a story of the week? Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, I got a sad story. BTC Moon guy asked about my dog, my little puppy of 13 weeks. I came home the other day and yeah, he was gone. He was on the carpet and with his mouth out open, and it was really hard for my little 4-year-old to see that. And but yeah, ashes are there. We're gonna have a little funeral for the guy. He just was born with a congenital heart problem, and And yeah, I didn't think it would be that quickly. It was getting worse. He was just panting faster and faster all the time, every day. And yeah, the sad thing was that we were going to take him to the vet on that Monday just to actually get a full scan and, you know, start the process of what can be done, if anything. But Monday was a public holiday, and it was also the day the little guy decided to stop beating. So yeah, that was sad, but I'm glad he's not suffering anymore, because you know, I've got also heart things going on over my life, and it feels horrible when your heart does strange arrhythmias and things. It feels really horrible. And the guy, the little guy, the good times guy, I like to call him. He was a good times guy, but yeah, it was just all over the place. It was beating out of his chest. Yeah, the little guy. Anyway, rest in peace, little dude. And yeah, the breeder has offered his brother for us. I said it's a bit early, but yeah, I think we might take him just to have his little brother there in the family.
Oh, that's very sad, Josh. What was the dog's name?
Wolf.
Oh, good
Yeah,
wolf. Well,
little
he had the
wolf.
best time he could with you guys, and I know you did the best
Yeah,
for him, and he got to play with the kid and the other dog, and that's pretty good for a dog right there. We do the best we can for our animals, and a lot, you
yeah,
know, obviously they don't live as long as humans, so this is going to happen to us anyway with all our animals, but it's very sad when it's so quick and so young. So,
yeah, yeah. It is. It is. Thanks, chat, for your condolences. Yeah,
yep, shout out to the chat. I'm sure we've all had similar things happen to us, and we still love the dogs and cats and other animals that we have with us to this day. So, thanks to everybody. If you made it to the end of the show, send us a wave or surfing emoji. Join the WN Surfing Club. It's never too late to give us a thumbs up. We do seem to get more views when we get more thumbs up. I think we get about 30 or 40 thumbs up a week. So if you are
yeah.
giving a thumbs up, that's like 1 out of 40. That's 1 out of 50. That's a pretty large percentage there if you want to do that work. But we're just keeping the show going here in the summer. We had more people that were supposed to come, but they canceled. So we do the best we can. Thanks to Josh for getting up early here in Australia so we could still do the show. It's much better. I want to have somebody to talk to. Otherwise, I'm debating with myself, and it doesn't quite make sense. I think when
No,
you
it's better
view
to masturbating. I
it's
mean,
better.
mass. Oh, jeez.
It's better to have other people around. No, that's not it either. All right. Well, we're running out of time. Thanks to everybody joining us in the chat and leaving us a comment down below. Until next time, bye bye.
Bye.